this is Nick from Breaker Press Games, and in this episode of DCC Basics, we are going to dig into wizards and learning spells. All right. This is a bigger topic, so before we dig into it, if you find this video useful, entertaining, or otherwise beneficial in your gaming life, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. I am trying to get from around 750 subs to about 1,000 subs. I would love to break that 1,000 mark, in part because I want to get Dungeon Crawl Classics to more people. I would love to see more people playing the game. And if this is your first video in the DCC Basics series, yeah, hopefully you find the information useful. You know, this is something that I record because I actually learn in the process of doing these videos. So, if you want to support my work further, if you want to support Breaker Press Games further, you can go and pick up a PDF through DriveThruRPG or itch.io. You can also purchase one of my zines through the Goodman Games web store, through Noble Knight or Exalted Funeral. And also, you could also order from my web store directly. Additionally, the absolute best way that you can support Breaker Press Games is by becoming a member of my Patreon page. I try to send out 12 things a year. Usually it's monthly. Lately, I've been a little behind the ball, but I've got 2 things about to ship right now. They're at the printer exactly right now. And what types of stuff do I send? I actually send out class guides like the Prowler, or adventure pamphlets like the Altar of Embers. In fact, the next 2 things that are shipping are the Leech class, which is my Sawbones class, as well as Night Falls on Tower Genulane, which is a carousing table for Tower Genulane from the Protectorate of Genulane adventure that I released. So, all that being said, let's talk about wizards and spells. So, because this is a bigger topic, I had written this script, and then I recorded this video a number of times yesterday and realized that I just did not write down enough stuff. And so I'm going to quote from the book directly and use my script. So first I'm going to read from the magic section of the wizard on page 48 of the rule book. Magic is unknown, dangerous, and inhuman. Even the best wizards occasionally fail to properly harness a spell with unpredictable results. Wizards thus inculcate the preferred magics lest they err in casting a spell and corrupt themselves with misdirected magical energies. And when I hear the word inculcate, I just feel like that's a word that would be used in a Bad Religion song. I feel like that's the type of vocabulary they use. At first level, a wizard determines 4 spells that they know, representing years of study and practice. As their comprehension expands, a wizard may learn more spells. Progressively at higher levels, a wizard knows a number of spells as shown on table 112, modified by their intelligence score. Known spells are determined randomly. They may be of any level for which the wizard is eligible, as shown by the max spell level column. The wizard chooses this level before making the die roll. Higher level spells are more powerful but harder to cast, and there are consequences to failure. Wizards cast spells by making a spell check. A wizard's spell check is usually 1d20 plus intelligence modifier plus caster level. In some cases, the wizard may roll a different die for the spell check. See Mercurial Magic. So, all of that being said, that is how a wizard casts a spell. But how do they learn the spells in the first place? Well, it did mention that at first level, you get 4 random spells. So on page 50, table 112, it says that a first level wizard knows 4 spells, and that they have a maximum spell level of 1. And that's referring to the level of the spell, not the level of the wizard. And those are determined randomly. So, then we get to page 124, under the section of Magic, Chapter 5. And there's a section called the Wizard Grimoire. Now, should a wizard have a source of knowledge for a new spell, they may choose to learn that spell at a new level rather than rolling one randomly. So, how does that work? Well, if a wizard in their adventures encounters another wizard and they see a spell being cast, or they come across a scroll or a spell book or some other means that they might learn a spell, then they are able to try and emulate that spell when they level up. Now, it does not happen automatically. They have to learn it, and that involves a die roll. So, otherwise, they roll a spell randomly and re-roll duplicates. So if you already have Choking Cloud, you can re-roll Choking Cloud. All right, now, learning a spell. You must make a check, and your judge will give you the criteria. Now, this made me laugh because it actually doesn't tell you what page that criteria is on. And so many people would look at that and be like, I guess I have to make up a criteria. But what it doesn't tell you is that guidance is on pages 314 to 316, which is something that I stumbled upon the other day. I've read that section before, but I kind of forgot about it. And while I was working on learning wizard spells, I stumbled into that. I was like, there we go. Now, they do on page 124 give you an option for picking and rolling if a player thinks they are starting with 4 useless spells. They may drop 2 and re-roll those 2. So they can't re-roll all their spells. They can't pick all of their spells. They can re-roll 2 of their spells. So that is the guidance that Joseph Goodman gives. Now, so we've gotten through the Wizard Grimoire. Now we need to talk about general principles of wizard spells. Now, I stuck to just the first line on each of these, but this is on pages 314 to 316. But these are the very important principles of magic in Dungeon Crawl Classics. First and foremost, knowledge is scarce. Now, one of the things the judges section of the Dungeon Crawl Classics rulebook emphasizes over and over again. This is why monsters are mysterious, and why the understanding is that you don't even know what's going on necessarily the next town over, definitely not 2 towns over. Knowledge is a very precious and scarce thing. And so obviously, eldritch knowledge of spells and spellcraft. There is no wizard school like Harry Potter. I know a couple of you out there, I know who you are, that have written adventures or are writing things that are about having wizard schools. But no, there are no wizard schools. Unless that is the type of thing that you really, really want. But at its core, that is not what DCC is about. So, knowledge is scarce. So it should be difficult to find that magical knowledge. Number 2, wizards are jealous bastards. It says it right in the rules. It makes me laugh because I did not expect to run across bastards in the text of the DCC rulebook. But they are jealous bastards, and so they do not share their knowledge willingly. In fact, the only way to get that knowledge from a wizard is to pay a high price. And there is actually a chart that lists potential prices, but you need to be able to give something to that wizard in order for them to share that knowledge with you that really exemplifies that you have gone to great lengths to get a thing that this wizard could not get on their own. They do not give out this knowledge willingly, so you must take it, or take other things and give them to the wizard. The means are mysterious. So that means that there is not just mystery around finding the spell in the first place, but the items and things and rituals that are pulled together to learn the spell are also mysterious. Obtaining magical knowledge should be part of the adventure. You will notice that a lot of Dungeon Crawl Classics adventures involve something to do with wizards. And that is because there will be ways that you can stumble upon magic and bring it into your adventuring lives. You will notice that even I, in my low magic setting of Stennard, I still It's like you look at Tragedy at Woodwitch Rise, which is one of my adventures, Cleft in the Mangled Hills. Both of those involve patrons that you can set free and acquire magics from. Additionally, this pamphlet, Altar of Embers, one of the Patreon rewards. This was a adventure that is solely a dungeon that revolves around getting wizard spells. So you should be incorporating that stuff in your adventure. So if you are a judge and you are writing your own stuff, keep that in mind. If you're running stuff off the shelf, that at least the official Dungeon Crawl Classic stuff, that should already be built in as well. And then the fifth principle of magic and wizards is wizards seek understanding and are ever imperfect. And that is actually why you roll a d20 to cast a spell. You don't just automatically know this spell and how to cast it and get the exact same effects every time. Magic is unpredictable. So, now let's talk about actually learning new spells with level advancement. So this is what we were building up to. Now, number one. Must have seen or heard a spell to learn or roll randomly. This is where I take truncated notes. So you actually need to find the spell or have witnessed it in order to learn it, or you're going to roll one randomly. The wizard must dedicate at least 1 week per spell level to learn the spell. So if I'm learning a level 1 spell, I'm supposed to spend a week. After I've acquired it, I'm supposed to spend a week trying to learn it. Now, if you've ever watched any of my campaign videos, I actually run my games. Every session is 1 day, sometimes 2 days. And so that would mean that they would have to wait 7 sessions to learn a first level spell. I'm okay with that, but it is something that I never used previously, and am kind of interested to see how that plays out at the table and whether my players have a stable of characters, so they might sit their wizard out. I don't know. We'll find out. 3, the wizard needs to seek out a place where the knowledge can be found and may need to pay a price. Now, I'm going to actually jump back to the Dungeon Crawl Classics rulebook to talk about that specifically, because there are these tables that you didn't know existed on 315 and 316. Only Trevor Stamper from Tales from the Smoking Worm knows that these these exist. I'm sure others do, but I polled some of my friends, and none of them actually used, some of my judge friends, and none of them actually used these tables or some of these principles except for Trevor Stamper, and it totally makes sense. But this spell, table 7-1, where is spell knowledge found? From the whispered lips of a corpse of Tharakan, a great wizard buried centuries ago under the desert sands, or from the eldest sphinx, carved in the ziggurats in the sunken city of Lemuria, in the purest drop of water in the morning dew. And so these are some of the sample ideas of where a spell can be found. Well, it just so happens a spell can be found at the Altar of Embers. But the idea is that you are supposed to be building in these quests for your wizards. This is supposed to give you some guidance. I would recommend creating your own tables that have these types of ideas on there. I will probably end up, after doing this video, we'll probably do a standard specific selection of these tables, just because I think they're cool, and I think they would benefit people running my stuff. Now, let's talk about table 7-2. What is the price of spell knowledge? This is a D10 table. 1 year of service. 100,000 gold pieces. So these are the ideas that Joseph Goodman has presented. We'll skip that one. Vow of Silence, building a great monument. So the point is that in order to learn spells, the idea is that you are supposed to do these grandiose things and go on these big epic quests just for the simplest of magics. Now, I would expect that if I made my own charts, they would have an escalating level. But this gives you some indication of what you should be looking at. And then finally, table 7.3, what components are required for the spell to function? A dragon's scale, a Medusa's eye, a harpy's feather, a basilisk's gaze, a virgin's pure heart, a hyena's bark. Once again, you can see how wondrous and fantastical these things are. I do find it kind of funny that some of these things, it's like monsters are supposed to be mysterious, and so there should not be a basilisk. There should be a basilisk-like creature with a specific name, but they use those as examples anyway. So, but that is another topic for another time. I'm pretty sure I've brought it up before. But let's get back to my list, because we're almost done with the script. When the wizard has studied sufficiently, they must make a roll. And what is this roll? It is a DC 10 plus spell level check to learn the spell. So if you're learning a 5th level spell, it's a DC 15 check. If you're learning a 1st level spell, it's a DC 11 check. Modified by intelligence, and if they fail, they may try again when they level up next. So let's say you are trying to learn, we'll go back to Choking Cloud. You didn't know Choking Cloud previous, you want to learn Choking Cloud, you saw a wizard use it to great effect, and so you decide, oh, I'm gonna learn Choking Cloud. You spend a week trying to learn it, and then at the end of the week, you roll a die, and you need to get an 11 or better, because it's 11 level 1 spell, and you roll a 9, and you're not willing to burn the luck, because you're a cheap bastard, and so you decide to wait until the next level. Or you can always burn luck and get the spell. That's what I would do. But assuming your judge permits you to use luck on that roll, I would, because I run things from day to day. Maybe if your judge lets you take as much downtime as you want, maybe they won't do that. Let you burn luck. So try again at another level. And then this is a final bit of really important knowledge having to do with this whole process of learning a spell. For every spell the wizard is eligible to learn, randomly identify 1 to 3 they can learn. So let's say the wizard wants to learn Choking Cloud, but at the same time the judge should end up having, all right, they'll have a little note written. They can learn rope work, spider climb. I think spider climb's a spell, and flaming hands. Let's say, and so those 3 will be on the sidebar that the judge has, so that if the wizard wants to learn a spell that's not Choking Cloud, or they fail to learn Choking Cloud and they want to learn one of the random ones, they'll have those already pre-prepared. Oh, all right, here's what you could potentially learn. So, that is how wizards learn spells. And I didn't even get into mercurial magic or any of that nonsense. That would be a whole video unto itself. In fact, we are at 18 minutes? 18 minutes. So we should wrap this up. Once again, thank you for watching these videos. I hope this was useful. This was a bigger topic, so it required more time. If you like the videos that I create, please like, subscribe, comment down below, and most importantly, if you can support further, support Breaker Press Games by picking up a PDF or a zine or back in the Patreon. Thank you for supporting indie games and indie game designers. Live fully, die gloriously, and I will catch you all in the next one.